loose, fine-tuning, elegant swing. French jazz guitarist Hugo Lippi recently released his fourth album, Comfort Zone, on the label Gaia Music Productions, and he joins me now in the studio. Hugo, thank you so much for being on the show.
Yeah, thanks Ian.
So here is your album. It's called Comfort Zone, which is a really interesting title. What did you mean by this? Did you get out of your comfort zone?
Out, yes, out, because I went to United States to record it, and I've got a story because I stayed on Brooklyn, in Brooklyn, and I went on the cab to go to the studio. It was in Queens, Queens neighborhood, and I heard something about the comfort zone during all the travel, and I say I don't know what the music gonna be, but I have the title, for me it's going out from the comfort zone. Really.
So you went out of your comfort zone, but it's a kind of a comfortable zone for listeners because it's a wonderful place it's a perfect remedy for a stressful day, let's say. So you recorded this album with a Franco-American quartet, and why did you choose New York City? Why did you choose to go there to record your album?
Because of course, as many kids, I'm 42. As many kids, I used to listen a lot when I was young, some American music, and especially American sound. And sometimes when you just to hear just the voice of someone say take two instead of prise deux or something like that. And for many reasons, I want really to be in this kind of mood, to do some music because I see all those buildings and New York, of course, it's like you go like a pilgrim, when you go like that, to see all this city, all this energy, and I think it influences the music. Even the music can be cool too, because I think New York can be the coolest city too for some reason.
So you've got New York cool on your album, and actually we're going to listen to a track off your album. It's called Choices. Take a listen. So here's your album, and it's called Comfort Zone once again. It features 12 tracks, so you've got 7 standards, including God Bless the Child, made famous by Billie Holiday, Humpty Dumpty by Chick Corea, as well as 5 personal compositions. Now, what about the standards that you cover? Is it stressful to cover standards from such great artists?
Not really, I'm not comparing myself to this kind of genius like Django Reinhardt or Chick Corea, of course, but the legacy of those musicians make you free about that. I can have my version, and I feel free when I play that. It's a kind of tribute, but I'm not comparing myself to them version, of course.
And you improvise a lot on the album?
Yes, of course. Yes, because I choose to play jazz for this reason. First, it's really improvisation is really my passion.
And there's a lot of poetry in the way that you play. What would you say what's the kind of art that inspires you, and how did you translate that into your solo material?
I liked reading. I'm coming from a family who, where they were very interesting about different kind of art. Painting, sculpture, reading, and in the same with music. I'm influenced by many music styles. From classical to rock to Brazilian music. I'm really a traveler in many ways.
A traveler in your music. And what's interesting is you actually spent the first years of your life in England. You were born in England,
Portsmouth.
In Portsmouth, and you moved to Le Havre, so that's in the north of France, at the age of 2. Would you say that this kind of multicultural experience translates into your music?
But I think there is something about the England. I think something left because it's the same with my family. That my mother used to be very passionate about the British culture, and for me, when I see a Queen's Guard or something like that, it reminds me a lot of and And it's the same because I used to listening a lot of pop, rock, British, sound, like of course the Beatles and Led Zeppelin and Eric Clapton. So I think he influenced me. I don't know which way, but
it seeped in some way. Now, you started playing guitar when you were 10 years old, and you've gone on to become one of the hottest, most sought-after jazz guitarists on the European jazz scene. You've played with artists like Christian McBride, Sarah McKenzie, Michel Legrand, even filmmaker David Lynch. What is next for you after all these wonderful achievements?
It's true that I had many great moments as a sign man, and maybe I love to be a sign man, I like to comp, I like to play, for example, with Sarah McKenzie. We did a lot of stuff. It's always interesting, and I'm very passionate about to do that. And so maybe people don't know me a lot as a leader. Of course, this is my fourth album.
Yeah.
So they know that I can do that, but maybe to be recognized as a leader than as a sideman.
Someone who accompanies people, so you want to focus more on your solo.
Yeah, not more, but that people know that I've got this part too.
Wonderful. Well, it's a wonderful record. Definitely check it out, Comfort Zone. And we're going to move on to some other music news making headlines. And hip hop has come to the Paris Opera. For its 350th anniversary, Jean-Philippe Rameau's opera ballet Les Indes galantes, which focuses on love and exotic places, is getting a modern deconstruction. Now, the contemporary artist and filmmaker Clément Cogitore is behind this ambitious project. In 2017, he directed an explosive and highly acclaimed short film adapting an extract of Les Indes galantes as a battle of krump dancers. This time, he's teamed up with choreographer Bintou Dembélé to adapt the full opera ballet into an urban and political space. Take a look. Such an interesting interpretation of Les Indes galantes. Clément Cogitore is definitely blurring lines and questioning borders. Now, what kind of other music, not jazz, do you draw inspiration from in your compositions?
Many, of course, classical, but classical from the 18th century, 17th century, a lot from the 1902, I'm a huge fan of Ravel, Debussy, all the Russian, Tchaikovsky, of course, Prokofiev, and many, and the same with rock and roll. I'm a really huge fan of the Beatles, for example. I can play sometime at night many songs of the Beatles, but a lot of different style. And it's the same Brazilian, a lot, East of Europe music too.
Yeah, so drawing all sorts of
always
inspiration.
Everything influenced me.
Definitely a trip in your sound. We're gonna move on to one final bit of news. This is from the American singer-songwriter Angel Olsen. She's releasing her 4th studio album called All Mirrors. Now, this heart-wrenching record is a follow-up to her 2016 album, My Woman. Now, get ready to get emotional with this album. With overwhelming synth and string arrangements, All Mirrors sees Angel Olsen go to a very dark place, almost an alien place. Here's the lead single off her album. It's also called All Mirrors. Now, that's all we have time for, unfortunately, but I want to thank our guest, Hugo Lippi. You're going to play us out with a song off your album. Do check out his album. It's called Comfort Zone, and the song you're going to play is Letter to G. Now, for more arts and culture news, you can always head to our website and stay in touch on social media. More news is coming up on France 24 right after this.